Ever stop and think about why the world around you is shaped the way it is? I mean, really look. The height of your kitchen counter, the width of the sidewalk, the way your entire city is laid out. None of that is random. It's all by design, and it all follows this kind of secret code. Well, today, we're cracking open the book on that code. We're diving into Architect's Data, which is basically the legendary instruction manual that has been shaping our world for decades.
And you know, right at the start of this massive, data-heavy book, we find the key to, well, everything. Architectural design remains largely about man and his spatial needs. That single sentence is our North Star here. Every dimension, every single layout, it all comes back to one thing: us, people. So why is it that some spaces just feel right? Why does your kitchen just work when you're trying to cook? Or why does a public park feel so welcoming and not just a chaotic mess? It's not magic, not at all. It's the result of decades of careful measurement and refinement, all focused on making the world fit us. So let's start where it all begins, with the human body itself. Okay, so our first big idea is all about this: man as the universal standard. Before you can even think about designing a building, you have to understand the thing that's going to be using it. And that fundamental unit of measurement? Well, that's you. That's me. It's the human body.
It sounds so simple, right? But it's actually this really profound idea. All design, literally all of it, starts with one ruler: the human body. The official term is anthropometry, fancy word for just measuring people. From Leonardo da Vinci's famous Vitruvian Man all the way to modern ergonomics, the first step is always to measure ourselves: how tall we are, how far we can reach, how long our stride is. Let's make this real. See this number? 1,750 millimeters? That's about 5'9", and it represents a person's average standing height. This is one of the most basic, most foundational data points in all of architecture. It's the reason most doorways are a certain height, so you don't have to duck every single time you walk into a room.
Okay, what about this one? 900 to 1,000 millimeters. Now that's not just the width of a comfy chair. It's what we'd call its spatial footprint. It's the chair plus the little bubble of space you need around it to actually get in and out comfortably so it doesn't feel totally jammed against a wall. That's the data of comfort right there. And this one is absolutely crucial. 625 millimeters. That is the bare minimum width a person needs to walk. This single, tiny measurement is the building block for how we move through spaces. Your hallway at home, the aisles at the grocery store, even emergency exit corridors. They all start with this fundamental fact about how we move.
So we've got the basic measurements of a person down. The question is, how do we use them? Well, we start with the most personal space there is, our home. This is where we see that human measure become the actual blueprint for how we live.
All right, check this out. This isn't just a random table of numbers. These are minimum room size standards in the US. A living room needs to be at least 160 square feet, a primary bedroom 120. These numbers aren't just pulled out of a hat. They're based on data. Data about what furniture we own and how much space we need to actually do stuff, like walk around our bed or have a conversation on the couch. This is what makes a home livable, not just a series of cramped boxes.
But it's not just about how big a room is, it's about flow. Architects have a word for it: circulation. And man, does it make a difference. Just look at the comparison here. A good plan has these clear, direct paths. A bad plan? It's full of these awkward routes where you have to, say, cut through the living room just to get to a bedroom. Good design feels effortless. It just works.
Okay, so we've designed a home that works on the inside. But a house doesn't just float in space, right? These design principles don't stop at the front door. The very same data-driven thinking scales up to how buildings relate to each other and to the biggest player of all, the sun.
And this is where it gets really clever. This isn't a matter of taste, it's just physics. You put living rooms on the south side to catch that low winter sun for free heat and light. You put bedrooms on the east side for that gentle morning sun. And the garage, you stick it on the cold north side to act like a buffer against winter winds. It's smart, passive design, all based on the predictable data of the sun's path across the sky. All right, now we're going to take our final massive zoom out. Because these exact same core principles, measuring people, their needs, their movement, they get applied on a huge scale to design the complex public world we all share.
Think about the last time you were at the movies or a play. The fact that you could actually see the stage from your seat, that wasn't luck. That was pure geometry. Every single seat, the height of every single row, is all calculated to make sure the sightlines work.
Or let's scale that way up to a stadium.
How in the world do you safely move 50,000 people at once? You use data. You calculate the exact slope of the seating, the width of the aisles, the capacity of the exits. It is a full-blown science of crowd management.
And it's not all about entertainment either. Take a factory. The actual structure of the building, how far apart the columns are, how high the ceiling is dictated by the data of the workflow and the exact dimensions of the heavy machinery inside.
And then you have airports. Maybe the ultimate example. They're these vast, incredibly complex systems designed to organize the flow of millions of people, all their bags, and of course, giant airplanes. Every single detail is a data point in one of the most complex logistical puzzles on the planet. But you know, the data isn't just about what we can see. It's also about what we hear. Take a look at this. It's showing the recommended maximum noise levels for different places. A concert hall needs to be incredibly quiet for the music to work. A bedroom needs quiet so you can sleep. An office can be a little bit louder. This is acoustic design, using data to make sure a space sounds and feels right for what it's for.
So after all of these numbers and charts and calculations, what's the big takeaway? It all comes down to this really beautiful quote from the book. The goal of all this work is to create a beautiful, unobstructive framework for our lives. Think about that. The absolute best design is invisible. It's the framework you don't even notice because it just works, supporting you perfectly without ever getting in your way.
The principles in architects' data have literally shaped the world we are living in right now. But that leaves us with a really big question, doesn't it? If that was the data that built our present, what's the data we should be using to design our future? Should our focus be on sustainability, on accessibility for every single body type, on how we blend our digital and physical worlds? What's the secret code that we need to be writing for the world of tomorrow?